Hey, I'm TDHA and welcome to Timberborn Swap the Beaver, playing this game with friends. We swap every 30 minutes and there has been a little break. This is the ninth video, I think. Eighth or ninth video, I think. This is taken from a live stream, and for some reason, the sound of my voice didn't translate that well. So I am doing a voiceover. I'm just inspecting everything, because, as I said, there has been a break in this series, and also there has been two players since I saw this save last. So I'm trying to get a nice overview of everything. I want to dam this up. I started that project we were looking at down there, and something didn't turn out quite right. So I will be trying to do stuff about that. Also, this little sector down here is semi-new, and I don't know if I should interfere in this or not. This is an old project of mine, and I forgot how mangroves work, so I was thinking I needed to get them chopped for everything to work. But as it turns out, that is actually not necessary. Yeah, so this is a bit of a wasted work, but I thought it was smart. And maybe it could help a bit, but yeah, it's not necessary, and I'm actually going to remove the cut down order later on as I realize that. Yeah. This is the city itself. We have moved a lot of stuff from the original center, trying to make space for more production and more housing. Yeah. So, and I'm building a little bit more housing. As you can see, we have 8 that do not have beds necessarily. The problem is that it is not in this city, it is actually in the little city down here. And again, I am realizing that. Yeah, so I'm still debating with myself if I was actually going to do anything about this, because it is only pumping water and making soybeans for the other district. It is not a. They're not doing anything by themselves. They're not self-sufficient or anything. So yeah. Here we have a little bit of iron production there, and I'm contemplating if that's enough. And then again, talking about this dam, I didn't build that part of the dam, and here I'm trying to figure out why it was built. And it turns out the water could fill that hole, and it might even be able to overflow. So yeah. So I decide that we will start a big project. I'm not starting it. I'm just marking it out. But where I want to build a backlog here, so we could actually fill all of this with water without losing it. Because we would have almost eternal water then. Yeah. You can see the water flowing into the hole there, and filling that hole will be it will take a long time, and yeah. So I understand why they built the little dam we saw before over to the right. Yeah. And with this wall being 3 high, we could theoretically fill everything below it with water. I don't think we will ever really want to, or we would at the very least have to build some dams to secure some of the other areas that we have populated, but better safe than sorry. And maybe we will make a pump system, so this will just be a huge reservoir, and then we could pump water into aqueducts and lead where we need it. that might be a solution as well, especially because this is where we draw water, and yeah, so maybe a shortcut. And we're also building dams there so we can fill more water in um, between this dam and then where we actually get the water from. Yeah, there's no berries, so I'm going to pause this, and then I'm starting an area here to produce berries and wood. So we don't need to produce berries and wood in the more highly sort areas like here. So these berries, I really want to get rid of those. It's waste of space. It would be way better just to have farming or buildings here and then have berries at the outskirts. We do need berries due to being the iron tails, and we need the no iron teeth, of course, and we no iron tails. I can't remember the iron beavers. So we are producing beavers by putting berries and water into vats. So yeah. Yeah, and here I realized the thing that they are actually replacing the trees. I don't need actually to cut it for them to do that. I haven't used mangroves that much, and yeah, I simply forgot how they worked. So, yeah. So I remove the cut down area, and yeah, that's much better. Yes. The science here will be a project because it's a waste with all these small science buildings, especially because we have the number cruncher. Um, so it is insanely good, the number cruncher, because you don't need actual beavers to work there. You just need beaver powered energy. Yeah, so I'm fitting it in here. Or trying to at least. And then we need the power from the other buildings. So that's good. And that will make a lot more science than the huts did, and we will do it without beavers. Except, as you can see, we have a lot of beaver wheels woven into our industry, and that's dumb. We need to do something about that at some point. Yeah, prioritizing a little bit of wet fur for our beavers, so the droughts won't be as bad for their happiness. So I'm trying to figure out if we need to start the other engine, and I decide just to do it because at some point the number cruncher and I think it's an explosive factory that is beside it. They will finish and they will need more energy anyway. So yeah. Yeah, and I want more beavers. That is, I'm trying to do stuff to heighten the happiness and the all over welfare of the beavers, so we can keep expanding. So yeah, so that's good. I'm trying to figure out if we could do some energy things, and then I get sidetracked with this area down here, because it is a little inefficient, and also again I want to improve the beaver's happiness and all that. So I need to figure out what to do. And just checking that I actually started the production of berries. And again, lots of berries. So berries isn't the problem. And one of the things with the little district was that they were supposed to help with the berries. And as I'm here I'm finding out that we probably need storage for the berries because they're just sitting on the brushes. They're not getting picked. Yeah, so I'm trying to help that situation a bit. We would rather have the berries in the warehouse than on the brushes, because if they are on the brushes, we can't reset the timer, so they won't get new berries. So yeah, that's just the way. Yeah, this coffee brewery, I don't know which of the other players, if it was Memic or Dreadmel who built this, but this will always be wet. It will never function. When our watering system and channels and stuff like that is built as we want them, this will be nullified. And the same, the building on the other side, the forester here, will never work. So I decide that even though I'm not the one who had built it, I'm tearing this down, because there are no reason for them to be there, and we can use the materials. So yeah, and I decide that these berries just isn't worth it. It is not. Yeah, it's not trying to have some kind of industry here where other stuff could be more useful. Yeah, and again, for happiness, I decide I will try to get them some housing. So that's what I'm doing here. A 2 storage building, so that's 9 beavers. Right now there's 8 beavers here. That's not enough, as we just saw on the headquarter here. They actually lack 2 beavers to make everything work. But yeah, this is a start. So I'm just putting up storage so I can collect the lumber and planks and make sure we can build stuff over there. Yeah. And then I decide, and I'm going to fight this a lot. It took some time before I understood what was happening, but I wanted to have 10 beavers here. So I just moved 2 beavers, so now they have 2 workers in the district center, so they can build stuff and they can move stuff around. And I'm very happy about that. So I think everything is fine down there, so I start looking at food, because coming in, I had the theory that food were going to be a problem, because it has been a problem earlier on in this series. But I actually figure out that we have a lot of raw food, we have oil and so on, and we have a lot of finished product food also. So we are actually not lacking food per se, but our food production is perhaps a little slow for what we produce of raw food, but not as what we consume of the higher quality industrial produced foods. So actually the problem is that we do not have enough beavers, not that we do not have enough food or food production. So again, what I'm trying to do, making them happier, is the right thing. But with only 8 vats, we can only sustain around 80 beavers. And that's what we've got already. So we need more vats to get more beavers, and we have just seen that our food production is more than capable of maintaining a higher population. And if it becomes a problem, we can always just build a little bit more food production, and that won't hurt anyone. It will only be good. So yeah. And then I discovered that the road is severed, and I don't know why, so I recreate the road just so it's there, so we don't build something stupid. I'm not sure we're going to use it, because we can't make aquatic farms here, and again, everything will be flooded. So yeah. And then I discover we are back to 8 beavers down here, and I'm like, I don't understand it, because There's nothing that should make the beavers leave and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm contemplating this problem for a little bit, and yeah, I put 2 beavers in and everything is working, but I'm very suspicious of what's happening, and it is actually very simple. The thing is that because we only had the 8 vats, we have a lot of old beavers because someone paused them at some point. So we have a lot of beavers dying. So I'm sending old beavers into this district and they die. And I'm sending new beavers into this district and they die. Because we can only maintain the 80 beavers, and yeah. So, yeah. So again, more vats and more beavers is actually the solution. There is another solution, and we will get back to that because I figured something out, or remembered something. I didn't figure it out. I knew that already, but yeah. Also, I found out that we were not producing iron. We only have metal scraps. Yeah, so I prioritized that because we only have one factory, and I think for a later episode I will build out our industry even more because we do not have sufficient industry. We are barely producing what we need at this point. So yeah. Again, I want to build a healer's hut to improve the all over happiness of the beavers. So yeah, and this little tree farm and berries are starting to look like something that we can use. But I don't think it's big enough, so I will need to make a plan to expand this. We will have to do some irrigation and stuff. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure how much we actually need, but as you can see, we only have around 350 to 400 logs, and that's not enough. We need more lying around, especially because we want to produce gears and planks in a much higher degree than we already do. So, yeah. And we do have a water problem, so no, not problem. We have 2,000 water. That's not a water problem. But by expanding the beavers as much as I want to, we need to make sure that we have water even the droughts. And placing the water here makes it so that this is the last place that will dry out. So we can get water here for the longest time of the areas that we can produce water in. So, yeah, that was my thinking. Also, maybe we need to remove some water production from another place, but that's another case, and I don't think I'm going to do anything about that in this episode. Yeah, but moving water production and stuff like that could be nice. Yeah, I'm just making sure that I counted everything correctly. And it seems like what I did originally was not right, but I think Dreadmel redid the dam, so it's actually working right now. So the water will flow out there before it flows backwards. So that's good. So as long as they are opened, there should be no problem. Yeah, I'm considering if this is the right move to dam it like this, and I think again I want to make a pump reservoir there at some point, so I do think that's correct. Yeah, and the explosives just finished, so that's nice. but we need those vats. They just need to be finished. They should already have been finished now, but yeah, of course they're not. Yeah. So I'm starting to get a little. I'm counting the things that has been prioritized, and I'm at the maximum of what should be prioritized. Yeah. So we got the house built. That's very, very good. And again, we are back to 8 freaking beavers in this district. And here I'm just setting it to a minimum of 10, because then that's what I said. There was a solution. I was just not thinking about it. And this way, I know there's always 10 beavers here. So that's the good way. So now we just need to secure some happiness. So a little bit of health. We can do that by using the grindstone and the shrine. And again, a bit of wet fur is very, very good for the beavers. Yeah, I made this double road. It's a bit redundant, but I'm okay with it. It's fine. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I needed more down here, either more with fur or other sources of happiness, and I decided that a brush is good. And then just for the kicks, I want the bench, so you can look at the district center and up at the hill that is behind that, where the entire city is actually built. And we need a little bit of berries here, because now we're not producing it here. So to make sure that they have what they need, we put in these berries. And also I want to have a vat here just to maintain the population in this district somewhat by itself. Yeah, and also just because we need more beavers in general, and stretching it out makes it so that if something's going wrong at some place, we might still produce beavers in other places. So yeah, I think that's fine. I hope it's okay. I don't think it will lead to overcrowding in any way. Yeah. We have a lot of beavers in this builder's hut where we actually don't need them, but we need them more in the production areas. So yeah, I'm asking them to work in other places. Yeah, and some of the vats are getting finished. That's nice. Also, you can see we actually dipped. We're starting to dip a bit in beavers. This district alone had 70 beavers. No, 80 beavers. Not 70. 80 beavers, and then we had 8 in the other colony. Yeah, now we're at 75 here and 10 in the other, but yeah. It should be a rising number, not a declining number. Yeah. So let's do the irrigation. As far as I remember, you can irrigate about 9 spaces from a construction like this. So that is actually too close. I need to remove this and build it further out. Yeah, I think it's around 9. Yeah. So, yeah, something like that should hopefully do the trick. I think so. Yeah, and maybe we will need a second one. Because I want as much of the production to be down here as possible. Yeah, but that should make a decent size irrigated area for tree planting. So an extra forester, and this should be a good lumber camp for the long haul. hopefully so good that we could start removing wood from up here. And the number cruncher is almost finished. And I really don't want the others to start science in these huts. Yeah, we are producing more than enough power. Yeah, we just need the 10 blocks of metal, and they will come. It will just take some time. So let's expand this wood plantation. Yeah, we don't need birch, but pine and oak will do very nicely. Yeah, I think we need more wood, but I don't think I want to build it upon that little hill there. I think it has to go on the flat area. We might build something else on the hill. Yeah. I'm trying to fit in some storage, because we do have some inefficiencies, especially around the food, especially the berries, but in general around the food we are not getting our full benefits, because we don't have space for the raw products or the finished products. So yeah, so we are just putting stuff in the inventory of the production buildings, and not in storage where so they can start new productions. Yeah, let's get all these, or at least most of them, torn down, because I don't want them to start them up again. The number cruncher is almost finished, and yeah, it's so much better for us, and we can use this space. This is high value space. We don't need buildings taking up that space. I'm not going to tear down the last two, just if the number cruncher isn't finished, and we need research point for something, then they can use the last two. But yeah, I don't want hundreds of those huts everywhere. Yeah. Then I saw that there were two lumberjacks here, and they can't reach anything, so I decided to tear them down as well, because yeah, there's no reason for them being inactive. Yeah. And then even with water in this dry spell, there is a line that is not producing, even though there's water beneath it and over it. So I'm making a small water dump, just so we will not lose production during the droughts. And the droughts are pretty long. They are 30 days or something like that now. I almost have a drought through this entire half an hour. So yeah. So I think that is a good investment, to get some water in there, so we can keep producing. Even though the production of kohlrabi isn't that important. But yeah. It is an extra food source, and therefore an extra happiness point. Yeah, maybe that will just has to go, because it's not in a good place. It will never run. It is inside where we are storing water, instead of being in one of the lead-ins to it, or the outflow from it. And the number cruncher is done, so now we are making a heck more science than the other huts ever would. So that's nice. But also we are almost at the half an hour, so yeah. So yeah, I really wanted to do something about the running beavers, but I didn't have the time, and my focus had been in other places, so it's okay. Yeah. So that's all I think I will be able to do in this episode. I'm mostly now going over what we did do. So we did, of course, the science. We did the showers for wet fur in the droughts. We have expanded the wood production, made space up here so we can do something better. Yeah, got everything working on this site. The dam is almost built, so yeah, maybe we need to do something about the pumps in that reservoir at some point. Oh yeah, and the mangroves are growing. Some of them will die again due to the long drought, but some of them will survive and make fruit. Yeah, and this little place is getting better. Again, this top thing, the trees, it would be nice to get rid of the trees from up here and maybe make some batteries and a heck of a lot of more production. We need 3 or 4 more iron melters, and and also getting that backlog security built would also be nice. I don't know if I'm to finish that deck right now. I might. It is valuable building space. So, but I think there's more important things. Production in general, maybe even more science and batteries. I think science, batteries, and metal production will probably be what I focus on next, unless one of the 2 other players does that before. Yeah. So, but that's all for now. So thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, please hit the like button. If you have comments, questions, or anything, please do that below, and I will see you later. Bye.